Hello, y'all on YouTube. This is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review impressions of a knife I've had for a little bit in my collection that I've very much enjoyed. Something from Quiet Carry. Yeah, let's talk about this. All right, today I'm looking at, for my review impressions, is the Quiet Carry LCT. This is the Drift LCT. This is a different variant. They've had, I've had the original Drift, the Drift LC, which was very similar to the LCT, but it was G10. It uses different skiffs, by the way, on that one. And then there was the Drift L, which I also own already. And I did a review on, and it was my runner-up knife of the year for 2023. Love that knife. This right here was a runner-up knife of the year for 2025 as well. So definitely, I think it won one or two categories. I have to go back and look at what it was. But such a fantastic knife. This is a little different than the L. The L is phosphor bronze, super thin, Vanax Super Clean, very different type of feeling knife. Let's talk about this knife in particular. All right, so the knife name is the Drift LCT, and it comes from LC, which I believe you have the L, which is the large, and then you have the LC, which is contoured, so large contoured, and then large contoured T for titanium. It also has Vanax Super Clean blade steel, and it's made by Quiet Carry. Quiet Carry is the designer of this. They do outsource their stuff. What I understand, it comes out of Taochung in Taiwan, so it's not directly in China. I mean, it doesn't mean some of the parts may not be made in China, but mostly the blades and other stuff comes out of Taichung, out of Taiwan, which I think is cool. At least that's what I've heard. I've yet to really confirm that. They keep their who their OEMs are close to their chest, which makes sense because they've got great relationships, great quality. You want to protect that because anybody's going to want to try to come in and try to, maybe subvert those avenues and could disrupt them and try to take over their pipeline, which is not cool. The designer is Quiet Carry. It's in-house design. I have yet to meet the owners I've talked to them quite a bit, and they're always Quiet Carry. I don't really know who their names are. I would love to meet them. I'm hoping I can run into them in a blade show and actually chat with them. Just because it would be nice to know who they are. Maybe they don't want their names out, and that's fine. That's fine. I love this knife. I love their aesthetic, their design ethic. Everything really has intention and purpose. Matter of fact, one of my favorite fixed blades is the Mark by Quiet Carry. It has the best handle grip I've ever had on a knife. And that's one of the things, is their ergonomics are just second to none. They're just really phenomenal, right? They're almost like what you would expect a custom grail type of knife be. That's a production knife. I mean, that's really what it is, right? All right, so the materials on this one, titanium, titanium clip. It is not reversible, unfortunately, on this one. It's right-hand tip up only, but it is a full deep pocket carry all the way. Not so much that it catches in there, which I like. It is a frame lock. It has steel bar insert over travel stop, which is nice. Now, one thing about their stuff, anything that's steel, like their screws, their over travel stop, things like that, the pivots, they're all made with LC200N, so that's waterproof. Titanium, beautiful milling for great water relief, weight relief in there. Titanium backspacer does have a little hole for a lanyard loop right there, so you can go in here through there, so you can put a lanyard on there. The blade steel is Vanax Super Clean, so super rust corrosion resistance. So I would put this up there with the saltwater series. It comes with the Delrin cage bearings, I believe, which is the phosphor. It's ceramic cage ball bearings, but they're inside a resin sort of caging. I put Skiff Caged Bearings in here because it's full phosphor bronze washers that has a radius milled and the ball pops in there. There's no crimped over on the ball, so it's very clean. Stuff doesn't get in there. And I think it's by far one of the best, if not the best, cage bearings out there in the market. I know Herman makes their own. I think Shirgorov makes their own, and some other people make their own, but those are exceptional. They're made over in Russia and Poland and stuff, and so they're made to fit their knives, and so you can't really swap them out. And fair enough, their stuff is amazing. But this is amazing too. This is simply amazing. So what is this? How does it open? Well, first of all, it has thumb hole deployment. It is what I would consider a drop point, not a spear point. This would be a drop point kind of blade. Has jimping on top, very functional. Push in and you're gripped and locked and loaded. Thumb hole, beautifully chamfered, but has enough edge to catch. The lock bar itself is cut out away, so you easy access. There's chamfering on there. It's not a chore to disengage. Sometimes when you have a big old lock bar like this, it's a real chore to disengage. You do have the cutout for the lock bar is mostly on the inside and then some on the outside, which makes this very smooth going in and out of the pocket. Beautiful little clip. Has a beautiful little ramp going in and going out, which is nice, like that. There's texturing on the back side here. There's actually some micro texturing. We'll zoom in on that on this side as well. But this texturing just gives you a nice presentation. It doesn't feel like it's going to drop out of your hand, this is very reminiscent of a lot of Quiet Carry design. This beautiful milling pattern is just gorgeous, just simply something you see. They also have their kind of a logo sort of thing. It's the 4 dots, which is typical of Quiet Carry, right? Like that. Everything's T8s, which is really, really nice. So that's really cool. Frame lock, like I said, it's pretty high. It's not a huge lock bar, so you're not. So what I can do when I close this, I can get up here. Let me get it. Oops. It's been a while since I carried this. You can get up there and just easily reverse flick, right? So that to me is nice. I can also hit down low and reverse flick if I wanted to. So there's options, right? Now it's a full flat grind all the way up to about right here. Then it's not flat anymore. It kind of comes up and then straightens out. So, but right here I can get a middle finger reverse flick. So I have bonus flick, and that I really like. And because of the way it's down here, you know, it's a little dry right now because of the cold weather. I can reverse flick as well over here, right? Except when it's oh my gosh, it's okay. It's really dry, and I have nothing on my hands. You can see how cracked up they are. So I have nothing to get traction on. When it's a hot, humid Texas day, it's easy to middle finger left hand reverse flick. I can still do it right hand reverse flick, no problem, without any moisture. So that's nice. Beautifully dead nut centered. I like that. It's a relatively thin blade. We'll get into the blade stock thickness here in just a second. Action is beautiful on those cage bearings. It does lock in. It comes down really nicely. It's a little cold, so the viscosity of the oil that I use is a little thicker right now. So once I wear it in, and it breaks in really nice. It'll start to have that absolute control drop shut that normally it has. It's just it's still a little cold to touch because it was in my case. All right. So we have Skiff Caged ceramic ball bearings in there, titanium contoured shaped handles, which makes it very comfortable. Everything's rounded. There's no sharp edges anywhere, even the little spots that you would normally get. Everything's rounded. So a good squeeze grip is very comfortable. You can choke up pretty well up here. I've got large hands with big meaty fingers, so you can see I've got a lot of room up here, about equivalent to a extra large hands with normal size fingers, double extra large hands with thinner fingers, right? So extra large, double extra large hands with big meaty fingers, plenty of room, plenty of room. It's a really good presentation on this knife. And it works well with both shorter and longer fingers. I think that's the beauty of this knife. The ergonomics work just really nicely for you. Again, even in here, there's no sharp edges, which sometimes people miss, and I love that. I love the attention to detail that's all around here. And to me, that's important. That matters to me, right? And you can notice that right away. And I do notice that right away. Now, I get usually plain titanium because I can fix those things, and I've done that in several knives that I really like. But when somebody goes out of the way to do that's meaningful. And it also helps justify their cost of the blade, right? When you get to cost, you know, it's not a cheap knife. It's not cheap. But it's well worth it. I feel like it's a fair price. And you may agree to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's fine. But I think it is. All right. So opening closing is beautiful. Like I said, the close, easy access lock bar, it drops. When you drop, you don't have because of the choil up here, the finger choil, whatever. It doesn't guillotine your finger, cut your knuckle or anything like that. So I catch it there, and I can just drop. So that means I can do it one-handed, look away, and not worry about it. Right. Some of those knives you can't do that. Because when you drop it, it's going to guillotine, cut your fingers. So that's nice. Blade shape we already talked about. Vanax Super Clean, which is great edge retention. Definitely the most corrosion resistant steel that we know out there right now, at least in knife steel kingdom people that are using that I know of. Okay, so all right, that's about it. So let's get into some of the measurements. Let's see how much this guy weighs, because it's not light. Okay, the G10 I think was a little lighter. Don't remember exactly those measurements, but you can always go reference that video. Yeah, 5.1 ounces, so it's not light. It's got some weight to it. 5.1 ounces, which is not terrible, but not light. And then let's look at the overall length of the knife here. So we're dealing with a knife that is, I would say, almost a full-size knife, right? It's 7 7/8 of an inch, just shy of 8 inches, right? We're looking at from the grip to the back, you got 4 inches, probably 4 1/4 if you consider this little part, a finger hangs over. probably choke up a little bit, maybe get 4 1/3, maybe, I don't know. From the very tip to the very start of the scale, we're looking at 3 3/8 of an inch. Overall cutting length from the tip to the back there is 3 3/8. That also matches exactly. So there you go. All right, let's look at the overall blade stock thickness. This is where it's pleasant for the size of this knife. Typically, you would expect something to be massively really thick, right? So I've had some other knives that are huge. So let's see what this guy is. 110.5 thousandths of an inch. So 110 thousandths of an inch. Typically, you'll see 120, 130, 140 thousandths of an inch. This is 110, so it's a little thinner. I like that. Going toward the edge, it's pretty consistent. Yeah, I like that. I like the consistency on the blade. So good quality control. It's a relatively thin blade. It's a beautiful slicer. Crazy sharp. I have the Rincon and the Drift L. They're all incredibly sharp. I mean, you know how Spyderco has ridiculously sharp edges. These guys do too. They're right up there. Almost. I'm not saying they're in the same facility, but you know, the Taochong Spydercos always come in crazy sharp. My Rex 121 Taochong, my Manix 2s, they come in incredibly sharp, and this feels like that. Okay, so it'd be funny if they were somehow the same facility, use the same sharpener. I don't know, but interesting. All right, so what are we talking about here? So we got the weight. Is this a budget knife? Absolutely not. Is it a regular knife? No, because my budget knife is anything under $100. My regular knife is between $100 and $300. This would definitely be in the higher end realm. This is definitely about $385 if last I checked. So I believe it was $385 for this knife. I think they might have a black DLC version, might be a little bit more, but it's not cheap. For some of you guys, it's gonna be, whoa, that's too much. It's out of my range. Fair enough. Fair enough. You don't have to buy it. It may not be for you. You may not like it. And that's fair enough. The only thing I ask, if you're going to make a comment like that, tell me why. Tell me what bothers you, but why it doesn't work for you. You know, and tell me, you know, if you think something's stupid, you have to have a reason, not just, I don't like it. You know, if you don't like it, fair enough. You know, whatever. Just say, oh, that doesn't, you know, I don't care for that knife. It doesn't fit my aesthetics, whatever. Be fair about it. But if you're just going to be like, that's a stupid knife. No, that serves no purpose, helps no one. Let's say you got really long fingers. It's very uncomfortable for you to work this, which I don't think it is, because a lot of people who do really like it. But let's say, just for argument's sake, that was one of the reasons. That would be a good point to bring out. Well, my fingers are really long. I can't really do great reason. But I'm not saying that's the case for this. But I'm just saying that would be helpful. You see how a comment, even when you don't like something, is helpful? That's what I appreciate it, because I want to learn. I want to know. And it helps me to learn and to be able to evaluate other knives better, right? So that's cool. So that's definitely what it is. It's in the higher end. It's not custom mid-tech for sure, but it's definitely in the higher end. So what's the purpose of this? Is it EDC, hard use, and a collection piece? At this range, this can absolutely be a collection piece, right? You could have it as a safe queen, which is fair. If that's your collection, your choice, right? Or you can have it as a user. Every knife I have in my collection, I carry. So does it mean I'm going to go use and abuse it? No, it just means I'm going to carry it and use it, right? Abuse is, I have knives that I've used, and they're hard use knives, and they're meant to be used and abused, and may even break in the hard use that I do, and then I can replace them, right? This is a definitely use and carry kind of knife. I really like it. So I would say that. Is it hard use? I think so. As hard use as a frame lock can be, this would definitely be in that case. As hard use as a 110 thousandths of an inch blade can be, definitely hard use. Now, if you're looking for this to be a pry bar, if you're looking for this to be an axe, get a fixed blade, get an axe. Use the right tool for the right job. But if you're in a pinch, you're in a pickle, and maybe you need a knife to save your life, I think this could do the job. This could get you, you know, do what you need to do, right? I think there's lots of benefits with this particular knife. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that. What's the Ergo's overall feel? So my overall feel handles opening and closing, textures, jimping, clip, lanyard. Well, opening and closing is phenomenal. For having limited thumb holes and, you know, the bonus middle finger reverse click. See if I can do it now. Do I have enough? No. My hands are still too dry. Let's see if I can. I put a little bit of moisture on the hand and see, once I have a little moisture, a little traction on my hand, and I seem to be able to do it. And now my moisture is gone. But left hand, I can absolutely do it, right? So you get the bonus flick. So I love the opening and closing. The closing, easy access to the lock bar, comfortable. Doesn't tire my hand out. Sometimes you can have one of these lock bars. By the time you're done, your finger's all sore. It's uncomfortable. This is not. I used a whole, you know, because I got a big old wide meaty finger. And so it's nice to not feel like I have to poke in there with the very tip of it and it gets uncomfortable. This, I can use my whole thumb, works really nice. Opening and closing is fantastic. The texturing is it's just phenomenal. I love Quiet Carry's texturing. They just do such an outstanding job. They just have an aesthetic I really dig. And it's one of these things that, you know, if you watch my Quiet Carry, I tend to be mostly, I mean, there's a few I've dogged that I didn't care for, to be fair. But they were also because of usually ergonomics, size of hands, and things like that. And those I think are fair comments, right? That's, you know, you're looking at a guy, I got large hands with big, meaty fingers, shorter fingers. So take everything with that kind of attitude and interpretation that I take. I don't have extra, triple, extra large hands. I don't have Shaquille O'Neal hands, right? I don't have little itty bitty kids' hands either. So, you know, I'm in that in between range. Some of you guys have longer fingers. I can wear a large, extra large glove very comfortably. An extra large would work on my hands. A large is probably the best comfortable, but then a medium length of fingers, right? So a large usually have extra room in the fingers. Medium, I fits to the tip very well, but then it's super tight and stuck on my hand. So when I review knives, I take it from that perspective. When I talk about my hand grip, that's why I try to give you the different variations of what I'm talking about. All right. So the texturing, the jimping is nice. It gives you good control. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of your hand. That's important, especially if this is going to be a saltwater series. You're going to use it in the water. You want to have some grip somewhere, and that does work on here, right? It's really nice. Clip works really well, so all that stuff. The jimping on here, the jimping is functional up here. I can move across without being a shredder. Once I push my hand in there, I'm locked in there. I'm locked in nice and solid. It's got enough texture in there that it can keep my finger from sliding if I'm doing a really hard cut. That's important. You don't want your finger as you're cutting to slide off or something, right? And then the blade rolls in your hand or whatever, right? So, yeah, I think that's cool. Jimping, we talked about that. So there's chamfering all the way around or roundedness, but the jimping, like I said, we talked about that. The clip, there is room for a lanyard. It's not prioritized, but it's absolutely there. So if you want a lanyard loop, you can absolutely do that. But I love how it's not prioritized. I do like that. The clip is fantastic. One of the best clips that, you know, Quiet Carry does. They're milled titanium clips when they do this. I love that. I really do. They did this on the 9. They did this on the LC. So if you're curious, I have an LC, the LCT. It looks exactly the same. It is. It's really relatively close. The LCT is all titanium. It's Vanax Super Clean, so it's a step up. All LC200N steel everywhere around there, plus the cage bearings. So if you put skiffs in there, you'd like to replace them. By the way, use RNK10 to get 10% off your purchase of skiffs or thick washers. Helps the channel, but helps you save money. Don't forget to use that. Look at my description. I've got a bunch of coupon codes. A lot of ways for you to save money. But anyways, the cage bearings in there, these are 1/16th ball size. The one on the LC were 3/64th ball size. So there's thinner, smaller balls. These are larger ceramic balls in a cage bearing, right? I like that. I mean, it's a more robust, more contact, more hard use knife. So for me, that's cool. I do like that. And that action is just stunner. I always love this knife. I get it out and I carry it and then I just enjoy it. The problem is I carry it for a little bit too long. I got to remember to put it back and rotate the other knives out, right? So that's the thing. Overall feel, it is just a solid knife. Feels good in hand. It's just very contoured. It feels like my mark, the fixed blade. I love carrying that knife. It's just really comfortable. It's got one of the best ergonomic grips I've ever had. This feels that. Every time I get one of their knives, they just feel really solid in hand, and this is no different. So I really, really enjoy that. And all the quality, always dead nut center, always really smooth. So yeah, I love that. I love that. Overall feel. All right, so typically when you just have thumb holes, I mean, that might give you a 3, maybe 3.5, but the bonus flick really works. And I will tell you, when it's not on a dry day, it works really well both hands. Unless I get my little finger, you know, put a little moisture on there, then it looks really natural like that, but that's because my finger's not dry. I put a little water on there, right? So that works. Over here, I don't need a water, but it would help, obviously. But the bonus flick is just really nice. It's very functional. It's very useful. So that's going to make me give it a 4.5 and round it up to 5. So this is a 4.5, 5. I'm going to give it a 5 out of the fidget factor scale. So you get 5 out of 10. That's pretty good for minimal opening, right? So then I have what's the fidgety goodness? How good does it do out of that 4.5 or 5 rounded? So out of the 5, I'm going to say its fidgety goodness for this one is going to be a 98. A 98. I'm only going to give it a 98. I'm only going to take 2 points off because, like, I just realized it's a little dry and I slip and it's harder to do that. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, everything else about this knife is perfect. I mean, that's as close as I can get to. When I have some of these with a full flat grind, I come over here, I flick it, no problem. I never have an issue, whether it's wet, dry, whatever. And you're going to get 100. This one's really, really, really close. You know, had the weather been a little nicer, it would absolutely have been 100. But 98, I mean, that's great. That's great. That's like nitpicking here. And you could easily, anybody else could easily round it up to 100. So there you go. It's not gonna diminish what I'm gonna think about it. Is it a recommended knife? 100% yes. 100% yes. If you hadn't figured it out already, all my reviews, all my discussions about this knife, it's absolutely a 100% recommended knife. Love, love, love this knife. Love the design of this knife. If you can get one, get one. Definitely worth getting. I think it won one of the top 2024 production knife of the year, overseas production knife of the year. I had a budget one production knife of the year. That was a Leon Ma, the Eutectic, but this one I believe was this guy for the production. I think it was this one. If not, it was number 2. But I think this is the one that won it, production knife of the year. It's just so good, just so good. There's a lot of good contenders out there this year. It was an interesting 2024 year. Of the ones that I received, the ones I bought, the ones I checked out. That's what I'm weighing them against, right? Because these are the knives that stood out to me and I handled. Are there other great knives that maybe that came out and you handled? Sure. But I don't get to handle them all. And quite frankly, I can't handle them all. I don't do this full time. I can't check every single stinking thing out. As much as I would love to, I don't have the money to ship it back, and nor do I have the time to create every one of those videos. I'd have to start doing a unboxing, review impressions, one-time kind of video, and that's it. Which, could be done, but, I'm not at that point in the channel where that happens. I usually have to buy most of my knives. I have a few people who are very generous to the channel, and Quiet Carry's definitely been one of them. We had the big 7K giveaway recently, and I gave away a Quiet Carry Waypoint L as the grand prize for that night. That was really fun, and Quiet Carry is just awesome. I appreciate them. So that was a fun knife to give away, fun knife to highlight the big 7K milestone, and yeah, they just make great stuff. I love their design ethic, their design aesthetic. Excuse me, not ethics. Their design aesthetic. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. Definitely recommend it. All right, so real quick, so if you haven't already seen the other video, let's zoom in. Beautiful stone wash, polished blade, very good for hard use. No swedge at the top, but crowned almost at the top. Nicely chamfered. It's round. Like I said, this jimping goes across smooth. Once you push down, you've got some good traction. Even the hole here is nicely chamfered, but easy to access and get a little grip. Here's that beautiful titanium texture. Captive pivot right there. Even captive pivot on the other part right there. Not pivot, captive screw. You've got the 4 little holes for the Quiet Carry kind of look. This texture is beautiful. Nice chamfering in there. Little cutaway there, so you can actually get to the lock bar, and then the lock bar itself is chamfered. Easy access, easy to release. When it locks in, we're at a good, I want to say 25-30% right there, and it's solid locked in there. Over here, we've got the lock bar with the steel bar insert, over travel stop. Can we see the over? Yeah, there's the over travel stop. So that's nice. The clip kind of serves as a secondary over travel stop, right? You have the cutaway and the lock bar is on the inside, then a little on the outside. Beautifully rounded, even some texture on this side. Got the back spacer, lanyard hole, little lanyard loop there as well. There's the clip, beautiful rounded on the bottom, easy in and out. It is titanium, so it's nice and flexible. Here's the back part of the blade, another thumb hole there, Vanax Super Clean, minimal billboarding. You got Quiet Carry and Vanax. I love it. Just very simplistic, no bunch of splash everywhere. Just, subtle, light, small texture, enough to know who it is. And if you look at a knife like this, you immediately know, oh, that's a Quiet Carry knife, right? They have a very unique design ethic, I think, or design aesthetic. Why I keep saying ethic? It's not like they're challenged morally, right? So anyways, there you go. Let's take a little money shot, a little thumbnail shot right there. There's a Quiet Carry LCT. This is my review picture, so you can guys see that. Love this knife. Just really a joy to carry. It's one of those knives I have to struggle not to carry all the time. I have a few like that. There's some that I could carry for days, weeks, months. Because I'm doing channel, I'm checking out so many different knives. Somehow I have to kind of limit myself to carrying. So nice knife. All right, what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about it? Is it something you own? Is it something you recommend it for yourself? If you own it, what do you think about it? Do you like the aesthetics of it? Maybe you don't even like the aesthetics, and that's fair. That's a fair reaction. Maybe it's not for you, and that's okay. That's okay. There's thousands and thousands of knives out there, and thousands of designs. There's something for everyone, right? And that's the whole thing I love about the knife community. There's something out there that you can enjoy. But I can tell you, if this appeals to you, if you like the aesthetics of this, you can't go wrong buying this knife. It's a good buy. It's a solid good buy. And there's a lot of other people who've done reviews, impressions, and we all concur, at least most of us. I'd love to hear if you had one, maybe why it didn't work for you. Why? What was different for you? Maybe you're expecting something. Maybe there's something you like. Some people hate thumb studs and they only want thumb holes. Some people hate thumb holes and they only want thumb studs. Some people want flippers. They'll hate non-flippers, right? So those are all, no, if that's your design aesthetic, that's fair. That's okay, right? That's okay. I'm not into the super colorful, the crazy G10s and all that stuff like that. I like plain Jane titanium, maybe blacked out a little bit here and there, black carbon fiber, things like that. It's sort of my aesthetic, and this one falls right into that. So yeah, I dig it. I dig it a lot. All right. If you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting that like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button down below? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps me out, allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who watches the videos, who likes the contents, who enjoys the live streams, who comments, and just part of the whole community. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. If you haven't already, hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this video and other videos. And a big shout out to all my channel members. Yeah, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me and the channel. You know I don't do this full time. I'm part time, and you channel members, you're like my workout buddies. You keep me going. There's times when I feel like, I don't know, and you guys are there. I don't feel forced. I feel encouraged. All right. I just want to be real clear. That's why I'm appreciative. I feel encouraged. I feel motivated because of you guys. So thank you, thank you. Also, because of your generosity, supporting the channel with your memberships, I'm able to check out knives. I recently checked out a couple of loaners. They're expensive and going to cost to ship back. We did a 7K giveaway recently, so depending on when you see this video, I just recently passed 7K as of that time, and that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars in shipping because I gave up to like over $3,000 in knives away. So that was an insane sort of super huge celebration. I don't think I'll do that again until about 10K, but that was an awesome giveaway. Yeah, so we're gonna because of that, because of the generosity, because of what you guys do, the way you support the channel, I do two things. I do a once a month members giveaway. It's not just a budget banger. Every week I try to do a budget banger for everybody, but then also once a month I make sure the members have an exclusive giveaway. Usually it's a knife that's between $100 and $300, right? Or something that comes up to between, that's a little more than just a budget thing. And it's my small way to say thank you, that I appreciate you guys. So just keep that in mind. The other thing that I also try to do is every brand new channel member. If you're a brand new channel member, if you were a channel member all along, you're currently a channel member. If you were a channel member before and then became a channel member again, and you're currently a channel member. Any of you currently a channel member, never got a channel sticker, email me with your name and address. I'd love to mail you a channel sticker and a little thank you note. My small way to say thank you. I really mean that. So just allow me to say thank you. That's all I ask. Also, if you haven't already, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, great week. Bye.